Hi, my name is Tommy Rodriguez. I'm a graduate student at the University of Florida in the Ecological Restoration Program. My Principles to Practices presentation today is going to cover the restoration of native milkweed toward the recovery of declining monarch butterfly populations. First, we'll start with an introduction to native milkweed. Milkweed is a group of plants named for their milky sap. They're an important nectar source for bees and other insects and serve as host plants for certain butterflies, including the monarch butterfly. Milkweed can survive from 2 to 25 years in the wild, depending on the species and environmental conditions. Florida has more than 20 native species of milkweed, but to date, only 3 varieties are available in nurseries: butterfly milkweed and swamp milkweed. Milkweed is often destroyed in favor of lawns and ornamental plants. As I will later discuss, there are several reasons for diminishing milkweed across North America. Monarch butterflies and milkweed plants share a symbiotic relationship. Monarch butterflies are one of the primary pollinators of milkweed. In return, the monarch butterfly utilizes milkweed not only as a food source, but also to host their eggs and larvae. Monarchs lay hundreds of eggs on milkweed over their brief lifetimes, but just over 2% of eggs survive to become fully grown caterpillars. Once the monarch eggs hatch into caterpillars, they rely solely on milkweed for their nourishment. The larvae will not survive without milkweed. The presence of healthy monarch populations is important to the environment. Like bees, monarch butterflies are very important pollinators. While feeding on nectar, they pollinate many types of wildflowers. Not to mention that monarch butterflies are also an important food source for birds, small animals, and other insects. At one point, we humans decided that milkweed is an ordinary weed and began removing it from our gardens, spraying it with chemicals, and destroying the monarch's most essential resource. Herbicides, often applied to agricultural fields to eliminate weeds, is also lethal to milkweed. As urban areas have sprawled out miles from city centers, areas that were once fields filled with milkweed are now parking lots and malls. Fire suppression and climate change have also been implicated in diminishing milkweed populations. As a result, less milkweed means less habitat for monarch butterflies. In light of these implications, a recent 37-year survey of monarch populations in north-central Florida shows that caterpillars and butterflies have been declining since 1985 and have dropped by 80% since 2005. The researchers also concluded that shrinking native milkweed populations and a boost in agricultural herbicide use in the Midwest are part of the problem. Monarch butterflies occur in Florida year-round. However, they also migrate to Florida from northern areas during certain times of the year. Florida is an important stop for migrating monarch butterflies. They migrate to Florida in order to escape cold winter temperatures that can kill them. Florida has 2 endemic species of milkweed, the Florida milkweed and Curtis's milkweed. The 2 species only occur in Florida, but only one is protected by federal law. Curtis's milkweed is an extremely rare endemic species, listed as endangered by the state and confined to deep, excessively well-drained sandy habitats. Although it is widespread throughout the peninsula, its populations are widely scattered and mostly localized. Curtis's milkweed occurs only in excessively well-drained sands with lots of sunlight. Now let's discuss modern-day applications toward milkweed revegetation, recolonization, and conservation. One case study found that historic seed collections are useful for propagating rare plant species. Herbariums are potentially important repositories of living seeds. To examine their capacity, Bowles et al. Tested seed germination of rare milkweed representing different collection dates. Their study was highlighted by a 45% germination rate of 3-year-old rare milkweed seeds. Seed collection and distribution is an important avenue worth exploring with respect to milkweed revegetation. As some milkweed experts from the Xerces Society have put it, the ultimate goal of milkweed seed production is to enhance the local landscape by restoring habitats for monarchs and other insects vital to ecosystem function. The Xerces Society launched a milkweed seed finder database to make it easy to locate seeds among different states. Transportation corridors are a significant yet often overlooked opportunity for monarch butterfly conservation. For instance, another case study found that roadside vegetation management during the growing season can adversely affect pollinators. Mowing, herbicide use, prescribed burning, and grazing all remove flowering plants that pollinators rely on for food. In Minnesota, monarch butterflies are typically present from May through early September, and roadside milkweeds are a prime resource in supporting their population. Recognizing roadsides as important resources, the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources Roadsides for Wildlife program has engaged rural landowners and state and local transportation agencies and presented them with a comprehensive set of management recommendations, which are intended to protect plants and wildlife while also balancing the need for road safety. Joint ventures are also important vehicles for milkweed to butterfly restoration and conservation. Organizations across the country are bringing citizen scientists, conservationists, and restoration experts together for the common good. One such organization is the Monarch Joint Venture. With a unique grassroots approach, the Monarch Joint Venture works to recruit, educate, engage, and inspire to action a broad spectrum of individuals and entities, both partner and non-partner. The work of volunteers has contributed positively to the general conservation initiative of monarch butterflies. In a study entitled A Citizen Army for Science, quantifying the contributions of citizen scientists to our understanding of monarch butterfly biology, the authors found that of 503 monarch research papers published since 1950, 88 papers included data from citizen science programs or other forms of public participation. This paper documents that volunteers contributed an estimated 35,670 hours collecting data for monarch programs and 36,854 hours collecting data for general butterfly programs in 2011 alone. The rise of non-specialists and their public involvement with monarch butterfly conservation has had its share of unintended consequences. For one, tropical milkweed is commonly sold at local nurseries and frequently mistaken as a native species. Dr. Jarrett Daniels of the University of Florida believes that the spread of the non-native tropical milkweed in the southeast may be causing monarch populations to persist longer than they naturally would, making them more vulnerable to OE disease, and thus presenting a risk to other monarch populations. OE is a protozoan parasite that caterpillars ingest on milkweed. It's spread through microscopic spores coming off the wings and bodies of adult butterflies. These protozoa multiply inside the caterpillar and can cause weakness, disfigurement, and ultimately death. And lastly, here are my recommendations for restoration practices. 1. Propagating and planting more milkweeds is an obvious solution to helping monarchs, but regionally grown seed is mostly scarce, so the focus on increasing production of milkweeds is vital. 2. Increasing pesticide-free native milkweed populations in Florida yards and on roadsides is a step in the right direction to prevent monarchs from requiring protection under the Endangered Species Act. 3. Education is key. Grassroots programs are effective for mobilizing joint ventures. Raising awareness about the need for milkweed restoration is important in helping expand markets for milkweed seeds. 4. Growing your own milkweeds or adding milkweeds to your current sites by collecting seeds when the milkweed pods are ready to burst is also needed. Be always mindful of using native varieties. And 5. Insecticides should never be used in or surrounding pollinator habitat. Limit use of herbicides within and surrounding the habitat only to control invasive weeds. And that covers my principles to practices presentation today on the restoration of native milkweed toward the recovery of declining monarch butterfly populations. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the presentation.